All right, let's welcome in our next guest, Alan Mendenhall, the senior fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation. Alan, welcome into the show this afternoon. Do you agree with Kevin O'Leary? Should everyone just chillax?
Well, first of all, that's a new word for me, so I love the word. But, it's hard to chillax when there's a military conflict going on. But I do think that, prices at the pump are going to come back down. They're just under $4 right now, which is expensive. And it's easy to tell people, look, as soon as this war is over, it'll go back down. I know people are feeling the pain, but I think it really is true. What has happened is that Iran cannot compete with the United States and Israel. It's going to lose this war. So what it's tried to do is redefine operational success, not in terms of battlefield dominance, but in terms of its ability to disrupt global energy markets. That's really the only tool it's got in its bag. But we have a lot of good news. Number one is overnight, the IDF reportedly killed the naval commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Force, who was responsible for controlling the Strait of Hormuz. And again, 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas, LNG, goes through the strait. So that's a lot. Yeah. But we have other things to be positive about. Number one, the U.S. is the world's largest oil producer. We're also the number one exporter of liquefied natural gas. And that's not something that other countries can just replicate because we have these shale deposits here that are unique. China actually has more extensive shale deposits on their landmass, but it's in places that's hard to reach. It's in places that are arid. And we just have a climate where we can frack and we can get a lot of liquefied natural gas. We extract it from the ground. We cool it to liquid, then we can bottle it, we can ship it, we can export it to places. And it turns out that, a lot of our allies prefer to buy from us because they used to buy from Russia, but then Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, and so now Russia's not the best supplier to rely on. Ukraine is actually attacking Russian energy sites through drone strikes and things like that. So all of these things are really interrelated. It's fascinating to me as a former professor to see how all these pieces of the global puzzle are fitting together. Just another one, Venezuela sits on the world's largest oil reserves, but produces only 1% of the global supply because of the sanctions, because they were under a socialist government. And yet we are the largest producer of oil, and we have really good refinery capacity. So now that there's this new dynamic in the Western Hemisphere with the changes in Venezuela, I suspect we're going to see American corporations looking for opportunities in Venezuela and for Venezuela to start looking for opportunities at the United States for a partnership that was inconceivable a year ago.
Yeah, it opens up a whole new world potentially for economic development and opportunity. I have about a minute left. I want to ask you, with oil prices sort of jumping up or down depending on what the president says, and there's a portion from CNN earlier where an expert talked about any lasting market relief is going to have to depend on real progress in the region. Is it really all about the Strait of Hormuz? If that can remain open and there's confidence that it will remain open, is that really the key? I have about 30 seconds.
Well, I think it's super important, and we need to actually reopen it. And, we've talked a lot about reopening it. We've talked about risk insurance for vessels going through. We've talked about naval escorts going through. We've talked about this latest gift from Iran, which was 8 to 10 vessels going through. But we really have to just reopen this. It truly is critical. And it's amazing that it's taken this situation to reveal how critical this part of the world really is.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Alan. I mean, the Strait of Hormuz was not something most people had ever heard of or knew much about until a few weeks ago. Alan Mendenhall, thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Thanks, Ike.
All right, we're going to take a break.